Hi, welcome back to Outdoor Gear and Skills. Today I wanted to do something I've been meaning to do for a couple of years, and that is to make cotton balls covered in petroleum jelly as a fire starting source. Now, I have done this before, and it gets quite messy taking cotton balls and dipping them in Vaseline and then dropping them in an Altoids can. That's what I typically like to do to store them, and it just gets to be a gobby old mess. And a couple of years ago, when I was in Roseburg, Oregon, I bought some cotton balls at Walmart, and when I got home, I discovered that they were actually cotton balls that unrolled instead of just being a ball that I was kind of dipping and trying to cover on the outside. And so what I want to try to do today is, there's a cotton ball before I unroll it, and just look at trying to, I got to find the spot where this one unrolls and make sure that this does it. So there we go. I'm getting it unrolled there. And typically the other cotton balls I've had don't do that. So what I want to try to do is use a popsicle stick and put Vaseline on the inside and roll it up to kind of keep it dry so that it's not a big mess when I throw it in my Altoids can. So I haven't tried this before. I'm hoping that it works. So just kind of grabbing that. Now the great thing about the Vaseline or the petroleum jelly is that it is flammable, so that helps. And the cotton is it starts up really easily. It's kind of like dryer lint, and so it's easy to get it started. So my hope is that I will be able to, now that I'm squirting out the side a little bit, but it's a lot less messy than dipping it in and having it get all over the can and everywhere. So I think with this, I'm going to try and get a little bit of that out of there and make it. So now what I want to do is light that up and see how it burns. So going pretty good there. So I'm just going to let that burn for a little bit. So now the cotton ball's burning. It's ignited the petroleum jelly on the inside. Got a little bit of wind, not nearly as much as we had on Monday when I was trying to fly home from California and we were delayed. But you can see right there that is burning, and it's doing pretty good right there. I think that's going to burn for a while, so that will give me a good amount of time to get my kindling and all of that on the fire and keep that lighter away there. But that's going to allow me to get my kindling and everything on top of there. Obviously I prepare that and my next level wood. I've got everything all set up before I'm going to ignite this, but that is something that's going to burn pretty well. And I think I got a little too much petroleum jelly, so it kind of started squeezing out like a donut. But looking at that, now the bottom is starting to burn. The bottom wasn't even burning, so it looks like that's working out pretty well there. So I'm gonna let that go. So looking at these, once I undo it, this becomes quite a big ball if I were to, roll this back up compared to this one. But I do like having the idea of being able to put petroleum jelly on the inside and roll it up just to keep my hands from getting all messy if I'm gonna go use this. When I hike, when I'm out camping, that kind of thing, fire to me is one of the main things that I like to have readily available. So I think this will be a good option without having to wipe my hands off and kind of pull it out. Typically in an Altoids can, I've been able to put 6 cotton balls in there with the petroleum jelly. So this, I think, will be a lot better. That's going to take up a lot of space. So I'm going to take a few more of these cotton balls and unwind them and then try to get them rolled back up and stick them in there. And I always like to take a part of a mountain bike tube and throw it over the Altoids can just to keep it from popping up. But as you can see, this thing's still burning really well. It's kind of spread some petroleum jelly around, so it's got a section about that big on the log that it's burning outside of the this is getting nasty, outside of the cotton ball. So that's kind of burning there. So that's going to be a really good way to do it. I would think that putting petroleum jelly inside of dryer lint would work the same as well. It just kind of, depends on the glob that you have. But it is nice having, cotton balls like this and just rolling it up. So I'm going to say that that's a success. That's burning pretty well. I should be able to get a good fire going off of that. Very light. It isn't going to weigh much at all in my pack. I'm not going to notice that it's there. And it's not going to cost very much for, a couple dollars for some cotton balls, like 100 cotton balls, and then some petroleum jelly, even a small thing like Vaseline, petroleum jelly, whatever. So excellent. I'd love to hear what your fire starting go-to type thing is. There's a lot of different things out there: fire putty, pyro putty, dryer lint, 9-volt battery and steel wool, things like that. I'd love to see and hear what you are using for your fire starting. As always, thanks for watching Outdoor Gear and Skills, and we'll see you out there.